Okay, what is going on, everybody? It is your best friend Justin from jmasterproductions. Thank you so much for tuning in. I do apologize, I haven't made a video in a little while. I've been feeling a little burnt out. My last video was, I think, last week, so it hasn't been super long at all. But, I do try to upload often. This is something that I really want to try to be very consistent with so that I could try to reach as many people. My channel is not big, so the more consistent I am, the more views I get, the more followers and more people I'll get in front of. And the more I bang the message into people, just like the basics, that on my social media, which, by the way, you should be following me on social media. If you have any of these platforms, please do. I really need you guys' help and support. Right now, unfortunately, YouTube is where all my full videos are at. Not unfortunately, we're in a grace period when we've been in one for a while where we've been able to speak for the most part. And there's a lot of different theories as to why people think that is, because people speculate it could be the powers that be farming for information and seeing and learning and studying us on what we're saying. People like me who actually tell the truth are never going to be big because they control the algorithms. And you know what? I think we're at a point where they don't really need to censor or take people's stuff down because it's suspicious now when they do that. They could just bury us with the algorithms. And that's pretty much what happens to me and plenty of others who actually tell the truth. There's been people around, Mark Passio, Corbett Report, Derek Bros, Richie from Boston, A Call for an Uprising, just to name a few, who've been at it for much longer than I have. So they have a bit of a following, but their following is very minuscule and their reach is very minuscule compared to those of the micro-influencers, as I often speak about, like Nick Fuentes, Myron Gaines, Jake Shields, all of them. And, I've been watching a little bit of Jake Shields. I have actually started watching his podcast, and it's interesting because he actually seems like a cool guy. He seems like a nice guy. His whole persona on X, which might not even be him, it might just be the people that work for him, run his social media, because he sounds like a complete dickhead, and he just sounds like one of these rage baiters. But when I actually watch his podcast, because he's had people like Derek Bros on, he's had David Icke on as well. He was going to have this guy I watched named Archaics, who I kind of discovered recently. He was going to have him on the show, but anyway, not to go off topic here. Please follow me on social media because I do need a website. I did have a website, jmasterproductions.com. I no longer do because I cannot afford to keep the website up. And it barely gets any hits anyway. So this is what I was saying earlier is people, they have trouble with external links. A lot of the times people don't understand that people have a website where all of the information is at with probably questions that you have that have been answered. Even on the social media platforms like Instagram and TikTok, I post clips just to engage people to want to click on my page, and then they can go to my YouTube channel from there, which, to be real, when I look at the analytics, it does help a little, but it's not very much. So I wish more people were open to clicking external links, which I know is people just don't want to do it for whatever reason these days, which it's very frustrating. Because how are we ever going to spread a message if people are just simply lazy? It's laziness on people. It's ignorance and it's laziness, to be honest. I don't ask for much at all. I really don't. I just ask for people to like videos, leave a comment, share it, subscribe. If people want to help me, if they want to donate, which would help me a lot because I do live alone here in New Jersey, a very expensive state. Things are tough. Things are very tough, and I want to take J Master Productions to the next level. But I need help. I do. I want to be able to do those interviews again like I did at Rutgers, but I need help. I need someone to film. I did buy a wireless mic, but unfortunately, I didn't realize that the phone I have, the iPhone, it's an older generation, so it doesn't fit. So I'm going to have to use someone else's phone, and they're going to have to send me the clips. It's not a big deal. But just to give you a perspective thing, because I'm sure people can care less about my personal issues and all that, let's get into the topic for today. Which I'm sure a lot of you have heard of at this point. This has gone viral. The Florida student, 23-year-old Gabriela Saldana, was arrested for making a joke about Netanyahu in the group chat, something about dropping bombs. Because, let's be real. This. First of all, I'll be quite honest that I think this girl is actually pretty cute. She looks like a liberal. And again, I'm not trying to judge. I'm not one of these people who's political. I'm apolitical. I don't believe in politics. I'm an anarchist, to be honest. That's my viewpoint. I don't believe in government. as I've always spoken about throughout my content, and how politics is fake and all that, and how we get brainwashed through these people. So I guess she made some joke in a WhatsApp group, and we'll take a listen to the video. But this is scary stuff, and you know, this could be a psyop of some sort. And again, as if you're new to this channel, we speak a lot about how these stories are fabricated, because everything coming out, I should say, you know, 9 out of 10 things the mainstream media tells us is not necessarily true. Now, sometimes they do tell you truth in plain sight, or they have real stories leaked, and this could be real, and it seems like it's pretty legit. But who really knows? But in the end, that's not even what's important. Let's focus on what they're trying to do here, because if you guys remember, I've been saying for the past year now that this is going to start the mass censorship of free speech. It's going to probably start with Israel and criticizing the you-know-what, the you-know-whos. You can't criticize these people. We're at a point where they've basically revealed themselves, and now it's, you know, guys like Nick Fuentes, Myron Gaines, and Jake Shields. These guys have made themselves known, and even Dan Bilzerian, and just to name a few, who talk about the JQs own and control everything, which there's a lot of truth in that. But people who are really awake like myself, we know that that's misleading. That this whole all these theories are being thrown at us to mislead you from what's really taking place. And even if a lot of all of that is true, because we could debate it's JQs, it's Satanists, it's Freemasons that control the world, it's the Jesuits, it's these dark occults, it's these networks. We could debate about it all day, but what we do know is there is a small network of very wealthy and influential, quote unquote, people out there who have their hands in these things and control the flow of information and what's put in front of our face. We know these things. So what they're trying to do with this is they want to bring us to a point where we can't speak. Where if we question the narrative, it doesn't have to just be about Israel or about the JQs. It could be about whatever the narrative is. Maybe it could be criticizing black people, maybe gays. Maybe it could be about just questioning a narrative of some sort of terrorist event that happened. And when they censor the internet like that, when there's full censorship of the internet and what you can and can't say, that is when freedom of speech will officially be dead. And they're going to make it look like you could still speak and all these things, but they're only going to let you agree and talk about what they want you to do. Kind of like what they do now. It's no different than what they do now. It's just in a much more totalitarian way that the people, the vast majority of people, I should say, do not see this coming. They don't understand what these things are. And even if they do, no one does anything about it. And we're going to get to that later on, of people not doing shit about anything. You know, I'll go over some comments later on that people left on my last video. And it's just, it ties in with other things, but we'll.
In a WhatsApp group chat of about 215 students, where students were discussing an event that was to take place Friday at the Ocean Bank Convocation Center on campus to make their capstone presentations. An FIU police officer read some of the statements in court.
The exact words utilized was, "There's going to be a bomb in the Ocean Bank Convocation Center, and it's going to be at Jonathan's fault," one of the members in the chat.
7 News obtaining some bits of that chat. It seemed the student wanted the event rescheduled and wrote, quote, "Netanyahu, if you can hear me, drop some bonbons for us capstone students in Ocean Bank Convention Center." Other students wrote they didn't take that text lightly. She later in the chat wrote, quote, "I wrote a dumb joke that should not have been made."
I can understand your position, Ms. Corey, and you're saying this is a joke, but to an objective person, it's not a joke, and there would be enough for probable cause. I'm not saying it's enough for beyond a reasonable doubt. I don't know what the state's going to be able to prove at trial, but for purposes of this hearing, I believe there is enough for probable cause.
So yeah, this is pretty serious, man. She's facing up to 15 years in prison for this joke, quote unquote, that she made in the WhatsApp group. Now I'm going to assume she's a liberal. She kind of looks it, I hate to say it, but through the social engineering and, you know, the way they've conditioned people to look a certain way based on their viewpoints and even judge people a certain way. And based on the comments she made, I'm going to assume she's that side of the spectrum. Wasn't very smart of her to say this in a group chat full of 200 people. I don't really even know the backstory of who was in the chat, what exactly this chat was all about, but nonetheless, probably not the smartest thing to say, because in a chat full of 200 people, because she clearly pissed off the wrong person, and this got brought to the attention of the authorities. Basically the modern day Gestapo, and we got this Mindy S. Glazer, the judge, right, who, according to sources and based on my research, is Jewish, which is not going to help this young lady's case. But there's a lot of things going into this, because we're heading to this point, and like I said, it doesn't just have to be about Israel. It could be about anything, really. It could be about whatever the government deems is dangerous to say, and a terroristic threat, and hate speech, whatever they want to deem it as. And a lot of people don't see this coming. There are people that do, but clearly not enough. And even on top of that, the people who do see it don't speak out against it, because people that your average everyday idiot out here doesn't think these things can happen, to where you come to a point in the United States where you don't have freedom of speech. Because, like I said, once they censor the internet, their freedom of speech is officially dead. Once that is censored, once you can't question or say anything, you don't have freedom of speech. But it's not going to be framed that way, because, and even now, most people believe the government tells them the truth. They believe the mainstream media tells them the truth, which is really incredible and idiotic that people think that. But this is just where the mentality is of people. People are not spiritually or mentally growing. They're becoming more and more ignorant and stupid, and they believe that their slave masters are here to help them. But this is all about planting seeds. That's ultimately what these things are about. They're so that when the time does come, when you can't say anything, that people have already seen this. And again, this is a viral story, so a lot of people are speaking out against it. This young lady is facing up to 15 years in prison over this. 15 years. Can you, if this story is legit, it really just breaks my heart. It makes me sick to my stomach, to be honest. It's really sickening to think that you can go to face up to 15 years for a statement you made, a joke, even if it is offensive, so what? Just for talking. But this is how soft and this is how totalitarian the United States is, and how the people of the country are so soft. People are so, how this human brain thing came up. People are so imbalanced in their thinking, and their brains are so imbalanced. That's why they're so effed up in their heads. They cannot think straight or properly. They think lies are the truth, and they think the truth is a lie. And people I shouldn't say they're not going to like where they end up. If they wake up, they're not going to like it. Anyone who wakes up is going to realize the prison around them. But most people just simply don't realize the prison that's around them. And that's especially coming at a very rapid pace. And it's coming rapidly because not enough people speak out on it. Now, this story is getting a lot of attention, which I think is a good thing, because maybe I'm sure there is already, GoFundMes to try to help this woman's case, because, as we've stated in this channel, according to stats, and it might be more now, but 52% of Americans identify as anti-Semitic. So I'm sure there's going to be a lot of GoFundMes for this young lady. And as I did mention, she is pretty attractive. So I'm sure a lot of men who are anti-you-know-whos are going to help out. And good for her. It sickens me to think you even have to spend a day in jail over something like that. But this is where we're headed. And this is what I've been saying, is that it's probably going to start off with the Israel stuff. That's probably why the powers that be have let all these so-called conspiracies and secrets out about the Jews and Israel, and how they have all this power and influence over the world, and especially in the United States, and how they're connected to stuff like 9/11 and the Federal Reserve. And, those same people who print our money are the same people who created that country. And this is just like very basic things that I feel like a lot of people don't know, or if they do know, they don't understand the significance of it and the bigger picture of it. So excuse me 1 second, we're actually getting a call. Let's see who it is. DJ KVN, you're live on jmasterproductions. What's going on?
Yo, what's up, man? Thanks for having me on, brother.
Of course, brother. Yeah, we were just having a conversation about, I'm not sure if you heard, but the young lady from Texas, I think her name, let me see what her name is, Gabriela Saldana, who got arrested for making like a joke about the Israeli president in a group chat. Did you hear about that?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, she's facing up to 15 years because she made a joke about Netanyahu dropping bombs or some shit. So yeah, it's a big story, and I'm just covering it because here on this channel, as you probably know, since you're basically my number one fan, that we've been talking about how freedom of speech is probably going to be killed starting with Israel. Hence why all the stuff with the JQs in Israel has gotten so big, and now all these people are anti-Semitic, especially in the USA. And that's how freedom of speech is going to get killed, and it's probably going to start with that. And after, oh, you can't say anything about Jewish people or Israel, then it's going to transition into, well, you can't say anything about the government's narrative on things, because if you're questioning it, you might be dangerous. So it's really interesting how this story got really big, and I hope I hope this young lady doesn't face 15 years in prison, but it's really tragic, man, and it's just sickening to think that we're heading to that point,
Yeah, man. I mean, I didn't hear about that, man. I've been caught up in getting my fiat currencies. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
But dude, it's tough out here, man. There's so much touchy topic here and there, man. It's like I don't know, man. What are we gonna do in 2026, brother?
Yeah, man, we just gotta keep spreading the word. That's really it. And the beautiful thing is that we got social media, and it's pretty easy to get yourself out there. But the problem, of course, is algorithms working against you. So I got to do more in-person things. I was actually talking about that earlier in this, how I really want to do more things in person, like those Rutgers interviews, but that I do need some help financially, and someone in person actually film and all those things. So hopefully I can get some help. Obviously, I got you. I know you're really busy, but I can ask, maybe Rami, who's also been on the podcast before. So yeah, we'll see what happens, man. I really hope I could do more, but I do need some help.
You know what? Where the world is headed is a scary place, but people like jmasterproductions give me hope and the light I need to make it through my day-to-day. You know that?
Hey, that's nice to hear, man, because that's what I feel my purpose is here to do, just to kind of enlighten people on what's going on, motivate them, even though it's kind of scary what's going on, but make sure they're not full of fear, but full of, I guess, a fire under their ass to kind of just do something about it then, to get ready,
Oh, man. Hey, man, I'm happy I called, man. It's a good time to join the live, huh?
Yeah. Well, I'm not live. It's recording though. But yeah, I was gonna talk about that. I was gonna go over some comments that people were making. So I'll get to that. Anyway, guys, I do apologize about that. My friend called me, but I'm glad he did. He actually has been my friend DJ KVN. He's been on some of my lives. You can actually check him out. We did maybe 2 or 3 videos together. Yeah, it's either in the live section or the video section. Go check him out. We had some pretty good conversations then, and we'll definitely make more videos together in the future. But yeah, sorry for the interjection there, because we just wanted to talk real quick about some stuff. Anyway, I hope I'm getting my point across, that they are going to use this whole thing here with the JQs. A lot of us have been speculating on this, and it's happening. If this story is legit, which it does look legit, even if it is a psyop, that's not the point. They're planting seeds to get people ready for stuff like this to happen. If you speak against mainstream narratives, and right now the JQ thing is a big sensitive topic, because you have pretty much a little more than half the country that probably secretly identifies as anti-Semitic, just like with the racist things all over social media, right? How there's all these racist people you see online. I live in New Jersey. It's a state where not a lot of people are racist. I live in a pretty conservative town, however, so there does tend to be a good amount of racist people, white people saying the N-word, this and that. Trashy behavior, of course. So I'm not saying that racist people don't exist. Of course they do. And you can never stop racism. You're never going to stop people from being hateful or racism. You can put whatever laws in place or make it hate speech. These people are still going to exist, just like murdering and killing and burglary is illegal, but people do all that stuff anyway, right? people don't understand the bigger picture because they really truly don't understand what's going on. As I always speak about, people are in survival mode. They are too busy trying to make Federal Reserve notes so that they can make ends meet, just like myself. I'm no different. Okay, I'm not special or anything. Sorry, let me put my phone over here so I don't get distracted with it again. People hitting me up. People are too busy trying to make ends meet. So they're not paying attention to these things. And then if they do, a lot of people will not speak out. And partially the reason, I should say a big reason, why people won't speak out if they do know truth is for reasons like this. They're afraid that the government might come after them and imprison them for this. We've seen other stories about similar incidences, not so much in the United States, more so in the UK and Europe. And in a lot of countries too, you're not allowed to question the Holocaust, right? It's a crime actually to question it, which should show people a lot of things. Now, these things, of course, are all on purpose. They're not a coincidence. They want you to get suspicious about it. They want you to start questioning things. They want you to then listen to people like Fuentes and Myron Gaines and probably Jake Shields and Candace Owens or whoever. Pick your poison, you know. They want you to listen to these people because they control the algorithms. They control the flow of information. Therefore, they control the minds of the people. Someone like me is not going to get big in the algorithm or go viral. And if I did, and I just so happened to start getting a lot of followers and I started influencing people, I'm going to probably somehow, some way either get compromised and then I'm going to blow up and just push out narratives that aren't mine. Or what's going to happen is they're just going to make sure that I never get seen. And that's pretty much probably what they're already doing. I don't get views on anything. You know, I have some videos that have had more views than others and maybe go a little more viral than others. But for the most part, my content, they don't want this stuff out there. They don't want people having real discussions who don't have a sponsor because I don't have a sponsor, right? I'm just on here saying what I want. And that's the beauty of having freedom of speech and your own platform that YouTube gives you. And of course, we know YouTube and Google, Meta, whoever, X even, these platforms are all controlled by the same people. People buy the hype of Elon Musk, who I spoke a lot about last year, and how people thought Elon Musk was some sort of hero of freedom of speech, even though X has censorship, even though the algorithms are controlled on that the same way it's controlled on Google, the same way it's controlled on Meta. But people don't see the bigger picture. They want to continue thinking that some of these billionaires or politicians are on their team, right? So this is scary stuff, man. This really truly is. I feel for this woman. I can only imagine if it's legit what she's probably going through. We'll see how the story develops. And of course, the judge, Mindy Glazer, who a lot of people were speculating on the internet was Jewish. And, you know, I did look into it a little bit. And sources confirm she is, and she probably is, let's be real. But whether she is or isn't, that's not even the point of this whole thing. She actually originally went viral for this clip, which we're going to take a look at. Let me just get myself out. We'll take a look at this clip. I think this is from 2015, if I'm not mistaken. And I think that's originally, because when I looked into her a bit, it said that she became known in 2015 from a viral clip of running into some guy she knew from school. Let's see what happens here.
Stand up and raise your right hand to be sworn, please. Please stand up.
Next, we head over to the Miami-Dade Bond Court in Miami, Florida.
The one sleeping there, you can wake up too in the back row. Number
Where Judge
4,
Mindy Glazer is overseeing bond hearings.
Thank you. I have a few announcements. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent all defendants unless you tell me you have money to pay for a private lawyer or if you are hiring a private lawyer and one is here. Also, please let me know if you have served in the United States military or any of the reserves. Good morning.
Good morning.
Over the next few hours, she'll see dozens of defendants.
You were arrested for second-degree murder.
As they step in,
I'm in the military, Your Honor.
You are?
and quickly step out.
Hi, Mr. Booth. How are you?
How you doing, ma'am? Okay, ma'am.
49-year-old Arthur Booth is a career criminal, charged with burglary, grand theft, fleeing, and resisting arrest.
You have actually 3 arrest affidavits: reckless driving, damage to property, leaving the scene of a crash with serious injury.
with no serious injury.
I'm sorry, no serious injury.
Okay.
After questioning, Judge Glazer explains the terms of his bond.
The bond on count 1 is $7,500.
But the judge notices something familiar about this defendant.
Okay, Mr. Booth, I have a question for you.
Yes, ma'am.
Did you go to Nautilus for middle school?
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
I'm sorry to see you there. I always wondered what happened to you, sir.
Oh my goodness.
This is the nicest kid in middle school.
Oh my goodness.
He was the best kid in middle school. I used to play football with him and all the kids, and look what has happened. I'm so sorry.
Oh my goodness.
The surprise reunion between the two former middle school classmates is almost too much for Booth to handle.
Oh my goodness.
Once a promising student, Booth fell into drug and gambling addictions that led him into a life of petty crime, resulting in multiple stays in prison.
Oh my goodness.
Good luck to you, sir. I hope you're able to come out of this okay and just lead a lawful life.
The reunion somberly concludes as Glazer sets bail at $43,000.
Okay. All right. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
Booth is sent to prison for 10 months and then released into a drug treatment program.
Yeah, so that's the video she went viral for. A lot of people speculate that because you saw there he got 10 months in prison. Now, it said he was a drug addict and he was a career criminal. They didn't mention everything else necessarily, but he got 10 months in prison. And people were saying, well, this guy is facing 10 months because there was stuff on X. You know, they're showing videos of all these other career criminals who have done much worse things than a joke in a group chat, right? And how they got much less sentences than this woman is facing. You know, 15 years is very serious. But this is where we're headed, right? And if, you know, people are calling it out, which is good, and the story has gone viral now, it could be viral for a specific reason, or it could be viral just simply because a lot of people are organically talking about it. Now, they probably want attention to this because they want to see how people are going to react. You see, they want to see before they do anything how the people are going to react to things. And they're also showing us, you know, what's coming. They're planting seeds for this stuff to happen in the future. But people were speculating. Listen, I don't even believe that you should be jailed for drug use. If you're a drug addict, you just need help. You shouldn't be jailed. None of these substances should be illegal. I believe you should have the right to put whatever you want in your body. Again, we just need proper education. We need proper morals. We need to be taught truth, and we need to stand on the principles that we're taught from a young age. And unfortunately, none of us, starting from our parents to our grandparents, so on and so forth, we were not taught truth. We were not taught proper morals. What we view as truth is actually a lie, and what we view as a lie is actually the truth most of the time, right? So before I forget, the point too I wanted to make with this was that this puts people in fear to speak out, right? One, yeah, of course it makes the you-know-who's look extremely suspicious, which we all should be, but not enough people are. This makes people afraid to speak out. And this is like, it's funny because if you guys remember in some of my more recent videos from this year, I've been mentioning a guy at my gym who's a little younger than me. He's like in his early 20s, right? And he watches people like Fuentes and guys who are similar to that, right? So he kind of falls down those rabbit holes. But he is waking up a bit, right? You know, I'm trying to be patient with this guy. But what annoys me about him is the fact that he's always afraid to voice things under his real name, under a picture of him. You know, he doesn't want to be tracked and traced and be jailed over these things, right? And none of us do. Of course, none of us do. But it should never be that way. That's my point. Like, we should never let it get to that point. This should not be happening, but it is. And unfortunately, I don't think people are going to do anything about it. So don't expect things to get better. But this is one of the main reasons why people in general do not speak out against the powers that be. Because they're scared that something like this is going to happen. And of course, there's just social pressure. They're scared of what their friends are going to think, their significant other, their family, their neighbors, their community, their co-workers. A lot of the times, the powers that be, they don't even have to like do stuff like this just because there's social pressure. And again, this is the environment they created, that they engineered, for there to be social pressure. Because of course, When I first started making videos, I got looked at like I was weird and crazy, and it made me really uncomfortable and insecure, and all these people stopped talking to me, right? But you know what? I'm well past that. I don't give a shit now. I'm well past that, right? But anyway, that's my point. Is a lot of the two biggest reasons why people are afraid to speak out is because they're afraid that they're going to get jailed, which should never be happening, and we should never allow, or just social pressure. They're afraid of what other people are going to think. And, you know, these two things boil down to fear. That's what it is. It's fear. And I always talk about this, how people just don't speak out because of fear. And if you call yourself a real man or a real woman and you're in fear and you're not doing anything about truth, trying to learn it and then spread it, well, you're not a real man or woman. I'm glad people are calling it out and noticing it, and I'm assuming and that they will be, if there's not already, GoFundMe pages to help this young lady with bail money or lawyers, whatever it might be. So you know, my best wishes to this young lady. It sucks she's in that situation, but you know, this is the result of people's ignorance, man. It's so sickening and crazy to think that you would be jailed, especially in the United States, for just expressing a joke and an opinion, even if it is harsh, racist, prejudice, sexist, whatever the hell it is. This is how soft people are, that they want to actually get you arrested because she's probably facing serious charges like terroristic threats or whatever, probably federal charges, you know? But anyway, I think I made my point with what I'm saying. I want to move on to something else now. We're going to go into some comments, and I'm going to kind of go on a rant, as I have been for a while, of people that just don't do anything, because this is the result. You know, everything that I talked about is only a piece of all the bad shit that's going to come if people don't wake the fuck up and do something. And excuse my language, but I'm more so actually talking to people that know, because maybe there's people stumbling across this who haven't heard this much, or they're just waking up. And I understand you should learn more before you start speaking and making videos and content and stuff. But there's so many people, specifically on X, who I see that tweet things that are on point, that know what's going on, and they have just no content. And I don't understand why people think that yapping all day and tweeting all day, or getting into Facebook threads or Instagram threads, whatever, is going to do anything. You're never going to accomplish anything through the comment section or just through typing. Never. Hell, you can barely accomplish much even through videos. I mean, you could do way more. But, you know, I can't explain literally everything to where you'll understand everything. That's where you have to be independent and do your own research. So let's get into these comments. This is in regards to, and this is just an example, okay? There are plenty of times where people comment dumb shit, and it's specifically, I would say, on TikTok, funny enough. Let me just fix my mic a little. There is a lot of people who comment really stupid things. But here on YouTube, and listen, people just say the same things. If I want to get into it with someone on X, or I just read threads of people on X or wherever, Instagram, and just the way people think, it's hopeless, man. People are, first of all, most accounts are anons. Most accounts, this guy's going to claim, because he's got his name there, that he's not a complete anon, and he said that we'll get into it, okay? Let me just first read what he says. So it's in regards to the last video I made. In the last video I made, I was talking about people like Clavicular, Myron Gaines, a lot of the micro-influencers, Nick Fuentes, whoever. I was talking about how they shape and mold the minds of the youth, specifically my generation and especially younger. And I talked about a lot of the red pill talking points that a lot of these red pill guys talk about and discuss in these podcasters now. His comment goes on to say, "Brother, I look like Dwarven blacksmith that drinks too much, and I can get women. It's not 20% of guys that get women, because, that's the typical talking point, right? That 20 of guys get women. And according to statistics, this is true, so I don't know why he's saying that. Common fucking decency goes a long way, and when you slide into DMs, don't talk about sex until she starts to get flirty. Even then, play it close to the chest." I don't know what that word is. Innuendos, puns, etc. Have a normal conversation first. And I totally agree. This is exactly what I do with women. I mean, he's not saying anything special or new. So, and again, it's just funny that, out of everything I spoke about in the video, because I just spoke about that for a segment, I always use that as talking points in my content, because it's true, and it's a problem. But my point is that It's not like, I'm not here saying blaming men and women. It's both of our faults, one. But two, what I'm trying to point out is that it's not normal. It's social engineering. And people don't realize that because it's about the gender war. It's about eugenics. It's about depopulation. It's about controlling how we breed. And that's the bigger picture with why I talk about those things that a lot of people just don't get. You know, they think it's some sort of red pill political thing. And, you know, again, it's because people are so far gone. That's why I get burnt out with this, man. Because I feel like it doesn't help anything. Because, like, people, you know, one, I don't get any views, or, like, people don't look at it. And I do it more for the morality aspect of it. But, you know, people just don't see, it doesn't do much. It seems like I've barely created a dent in anything, you know. Nonetheless, I'm still going to do this. Just, you know, I may have to just restrict it a little more because, you know, even people who watch me, like, I don't get much support from anyone. So we'll see what happens. He goes on to say, plenty of women have morals. Yes, man, I agree. I agree that there's women that have morals. I'm never saying all. I'm never using blanket statements. I make that very clear. If you're having issues with that, then check your surroundings and that energy you carry. Your entire view of women is based on those drunk interviews outside of clubs on red pill channels, and that's not most women. Hell, that's not even 10% of women. Well, he's wrong. I mean, he's completely wrong. Now, maybe this guy is a good-looking dude or whatever, or he gets women, or he's a nice guy like he says. Who the hell knows? I don't know this guy. Go on his page, okay, and he's got nothing. He doesn't have any. He's got like 8 subscribers. He's got no content, okay, and that's all these people do. They just sit back and comment, and they don't do anything. They have nothing to their name. All right, maybe you don't have YouTube content. Maybe you don't have YouTube content, but maybe you got music or something that spreads a good message. Maybe you got a book or whatever. But no, these guys have nothing. So I go on to say, and I usually don't even respond to comments much, even if they're negative, because it's a waste of time. But you know, like, people got to know. And I wanted to make a video on it, which is also why I engaged a little bit. I wanted to make a video based on it because this is just the typical shit I always get. So I go on to say, what a stupid comment. You clearly didn't listen to what I said. Out of everything I spoke about in the video, this was your takeaway. I said, LOL, rewatch the video and actually listen this time. Think before you comment dumb shit. Then he said, LOL, you said that men and women are having trouble connecting. A lot of it is on men. Sure, okay, whatever. A lot of it is on men. But it's also a lot on women too. And I'm not here saying that it's one or the other's fault. There's both at fault. The majority of the rest of your time is about the Federal Reserve and other political points, which I don't have a problem with. And, you know, to make it, like, personal with myself, I'm not having women problems. I don't have women problems. So just because I speak about the problems with women doesn't mean that these are my personal issues that I'm going through. Some of it is, yes, experience I've had in the past, but pretty much all of it is just what I see by observing. And then he goes on to say, but to act like women have changed when there is infinite screenshots of men unable to pass sentence 3 without mentioning their dick. Okay, I agree. I'm not saying that it's not men's fault again. It's distinguished. And if my comment goes through to some blockhead with a chip on their shoulder, then it's a good thing. Don't get your balls in a twist. And I go on to say, I'll get my balls in a twist over people like you who make comments, who make I went on to say, I'll get my balls in a twist over people like you who make a comment about something that has very little to do with what my point is. Also, you don't have anything to wake people. You just consume content and comment as if anyone takes an anon account seriously. And then he goes on to say, your account is more anon than mine. Mine's my name. I literally could not be more anonymous. You want me to rewatch an hour-long rant on multiple topics and you couldn't even read my name before calling me anonymous. Well, you are anonymous. I don't know who Charles McClure is. Okay, great. I'll give you that, buddy. You got your name, but you got Patrick Starr in your profile picture. You got no links to who you are. I don't know who you are. You're irrelevant. Anyone who doesn't have any content is irrelevant to me. Okay? I could really give a shit less what anons think about me. And then let's see his last comment. I didn't respond to this last one, but he says, oh, and you're probably right, though. I probably won't wake anyone up in the comments of a video with 26 views, because at the time it had 26. Now it has 66, FYI. So there's that. But, you know, I'm going to be real, and I don't even care if I offend people that watch me. Like, your opinion is irrelevant to me. If you think anything negative about, you know, how I make content or what I do, I can appreciate constructive criticism. But when it comes from people who've never made content in their life or whatever, then I can't. Like people, they comment things, whether it's on YouTube or TikTok, sometimes Instagram, sometimes Snapchat, right? Like a lot of people just miss my point. They don't really listen. And it's super annoying that I'm like one of the few people out here, man, because there's really not a lot, especially in my generation, there's not a lot of people actually making content and trying to get this message out here. So then the last comment here that someone left in my latest video is, fuck, do we need more channels like this or what? Now again, listen, a lot of the times people comment stuff or rarely write me messages. I don't even understand what they're saying because their grammar is so bad. Like a lot of the times I'll read it, I'm like, yo, what is this person even saying? But again, this is where we're at collectively as human beings. You could even see from here, he's got a dog in his profile picture, a dog with no bones, 906. I already went on this person's page and saw he has no content, no nothing, no subscribers, no nothing. And the other guy too is talking about my view count. Like, listen, buddy, you people, you want to make fun of my stuff for not getting views or I got no subs, whatever. It's more than you because I've started and I'm consistent with it. And you're not. You haven't even started. So you have no right to say shit because you have 0 subs, you have no views, and if you did try to make some content, you would realize and other people would realize how stupid you are and how stupid you sound and how you can't make sense. And I'll take it a step further and say, you don't even know how to make content. You couldn't make content to save your life, a lot of you. You don't even know where to start, how to start. You don't know how to, you think it's just what? Putting your phone camera on, pressing play, and you talking? Yeah, see if anyone listens to you. So anyway, not to get sidetracked, this dude goes, fuck, do we need more channels like this or what? So much chewing and regurgitating of different channels, just cranking out the same content. Do we really need another opinion channel? Terrible recommendation. And again, I don't know what the hell he's saying. I don't know if he's referring to me, if he's referring to something I talked about, or because I talked about, a ton of content creators in there. So I don't know if he's referring to me or not. But it's what I find really funny too. You guys want to know something funny? Whether it's on YouTube or TikTok or Instagram, the more people that, like if I get one negative comment, I'm bound to get more. It's like if one person comments, then all of a sudden a ton of people will. It's funny how that works. I don't know if that's some sort of algorithm thing because more people are seeing it, or if it's just because if someone sees someone say something negative, they want to chime in too, because that's how pathetic people are. It's like one person says something negative, it's the first comment, and then I'm bound to get at least a couple more hate comments or something. And don't get me wrong, I get comments of stuff that are positive. It's not like it's all negative, but a lot of the times it's just dumb shit where a lot of the times too, like I said, I don't even understand the context of the comment because people's grammar and they're not clear on what they're saying. So again, these people don't matter. They got nothing. They could comment and say what they want, but they're completely irrelevant. No one knows who they are. They haven't made content, and this goes for a lot of people out there in the truth movement who are even like interested in watching this stuff. Like I said, unless you're still learning, if you've known this stuff for a long time, why don't you have content? Why are you not doing anything about it? You see, you're part of the problem. And if you think that just tweeting all day or whatever is going to do anything, no, you're part of the problem. And you get to tell your kids and yourself that, and you get to tell God or whoever, whatever you believe in, when you die, that you didn't do anything to help the causes in the world. You didn't provide any solutions. You didn't try to help wake people up. You just sat back and watched, basically. And you were part of the problem by either not doing anything or just being a keyboard warrior. Listen, this is what happens, man. This is just what happens, is that these comments, they come in, they tend to miss the point of what I'm saying most of the time. And it's a shame. It's annoying. It's annoying how people they miss the bigger picture. Even some of I'm not even gonna call them friends. My peers who I have on social media, who I've known for a long time, right, throughout my growing up and shit, right. Some of them get it, some of them don't. Some of them understand it a little bit, but based on what they say, how they talk, because I was at least in group chat to some of them. I had to leave because of their ignorance and stupidity, but they can see like very surface level things, some of them, but they lack the bigger picture. And that's what a lot of people lack. It's not even just them. I'm just using people that I know personally as an example, but I see this on the internet right? This guy comment, like, my whole video was not, that was not the purpose of what I was talking about. Everything he commented about. And then he's talking about how, that he, if anything, I'm more anon than him. I mean, how stupid do you have to be? Like, it's just so disrespectful, too. I'm showing my face. I'm making content. I've actually invested time and money into doing what I do and get nothing really in return for it, right? I have over 300 videos on YouTube. I got Instagram. I got all these, the links to everything as well. Look, listen, look, this is me. You want to look up anything on social media, my email or anything? There it is. I'm not anonymous, okay? You know, maybe my first name or last name isn't in my stuff, but that doesn't make me anonymous. It's not hard to find those things out. I tell you my name is Justin all the time, hence jmasterproductions, right? My goodness. So it's really annoying, man. It's really annoying and frustrating. Hey, listen, for those people, if I'm being too fast with the transitions here on the screen, take a screenshot, pause the video. There's things you could do. This is what's annoying is people are such Luddites and they're so lazy. They don't, it's like what I said earlier in this, the very beginning. They don't like external links. It's so hard for people just to subscribe and like a video and follow, you know, and click something that might, oh, God forbid, take you to an external link. I mean, people, it's not that hard, man. It's really not hard, but as I've been saying, this is where the mindset of humanity is at, just complete Luddites, you know. So that's what I want to say. You know, another rant about people commenting dumb shit. I'm gonna have to get more harsh on these truthers and whatnot. Maybe I'm gonna have to just start commenting negative stuff in Instagram threads, in X threads, and other social media platforms, so people can notice me. Because I don't know what to do anymore, man. My content has improved a lot. I make it a lot more engaging. My delivery is good. Okay, I'm not saying I'm perfect or I'm the best. There's definitely improvements I can make, but I need help, bro. I want to do shit in person, but I need help locally. I'm in the northwestern part of Jersey. If you're in the area and you believe in the same shit as me, go ahead. I mean, please give me a follow, hit me up, because this is crazy. We got to do something, man. If you are awake, you don't want to run out of time. Life is too short to get caught up in the dumb shit of the world. You are going to regret it. You are not going to be prepared. Maybe you're not prepared physically, maybe you're not prepared mentally, but you're definitely not prepared spiritually, most people. Because most people, what's coming in the world, not even just with stuff with government and politics and the change in the New World Order and the whole shift into the new system that we're going to, like, there's going to be crazy shit, whether it's aliens or stuff falling out of the sky or weird animals, right? Crazy, disgusting creatures, weird weather. Who knows, man? But we're in for a treat. We haven't seen anything yet. The powers that be, they're waiting for the right time, and they're getting us prepared for it. That's what they've been doing for a long time. They're conditioning us for what's to come. That way, when it all comes, they'll have the solutions ready, and we'll be all warmed up to accept it, because we'll be in shock and fear, as we always are. So I think I'll end it there. I don't believe I had anything else that I wanted to rant about. You know, I just wanted to talk about you know, how it's crazy with that woman jailed and where we're headed, and how a lot of us have been calling this, and it's probably going to start with the JQs. And you know, these anon people, listen, if you are one of those people who just comments on YouTube videos, on X, on Instagram, on TikTok, whatever platform, you are not going to cause anything good to happen. You are doing what the powers that be want. You are engaging in nonsense on the internet with other people who are not informed, and you yourself are probably not informed, because the informed people that I know, for the most part, don't get into arguments with people on threads and stuff, or try to educate people that way. You'll never educate someone leaving comments. You know, if you just talk to your neighbor or your family member or whoever for 5 minutes or 10 minutes, that's not going to wake someone up. You have to actually make content so that there's long forms of it. It's kind of like a book of all the knowledge you have comprised, so that people could watch it. And it's easy to do now. It's really easy to make content with the technology that there is, and especially the media publishing platforms. It's easy to do it, but now the problem, of course, is the algorithms that work against us and the censorship. And if more people rose up and called it out and did something about it, we could change things. But again, people want to be keyboard warriors, like I always say. And you're part of the problem. And you're not doing anything good for yourself. You're not doing anything good for society. You're just doing what the powers that be want by engaging in nonsense online because it doesn't solve anything. The last thing they want is people doing stuff like me, making actual videos, right? Making videos that are somewhat decent. They don't have to be, again, nothing has to be friggin' perfect. But they don't want people learning how to use the OBS streaming or whatever streaming network and how to make it look a certain way and how to reach people, right? And how to use editing software or just how to use computers in general. I am nowhere near an expert at all on anything. I am really truly not. But when I first saw OBS, which is what I use to stream, I was like, what the hell is this? But I learned it. And my content, you could look at it from the first video on here, that it got better over time because I invested money and time into it. And I also know what I'm talking about. I spent almost 9 years researching the stuff that I'm telling you. And I have no intentions of deceiving people. I do this because I want to know the truth. I'm a truth seeker. That is what I am. I am not perfect. I am not better than you. I'm not smarter than you. I am just not an ignorant person. I am not your average everyday ignorant sheep around here who is not informed and well researched. And again, there's people out here who are way better researchers and communicators and are just way more smart than I am, who present this information much better, that I could easily point you to. But it's funny because people don't even ask me much. Hey, Justin, can I watch the sources you watch? A lot of people don't ask me that, funny enough. So I think I made my point. I just wanted to really discuss those two things. If you stuck till the end here, once again, the description box below will have all my social media. If you're watching this on YouTube, which I'm sure you are because that's where my long format videos are, as I've said 100 times, hopefully that'll sink into people's heads. Please subscribe, like this video, leave a comment, and share it around. And most importantly, I will see you guys in the next one, hopefully.